Hi everyone, my name is Carolcumber. Welcome to my channel and our investigation and our intuitive readings from Gaia and the cosmos about what's up and coming for our month ahead of November, what it means to you, and how we can actually travel through the months ahead with as much information as we possibly can. But first, I was just chatting to a couple of friends, and they were commentating, the ones in the Northern Hemisphere, about how late comparatively autumn feels this year. That everything is just still flowering so much, and the leaves are taking their time to change colour and even leave the trees. And one of the intuitive practices I do is when I'm sitting with a question as simple as that, why does autumn actually feel late? I'll often type it into Google, or I'll just wait for something to come into my, for me to notice, whether that's a book, whether that's music on the radio with specific words, or whatever it happens to be. And I was watching a YouTube this morning, and within the context of that, it wasn't somebody who would talk about planetary things normally, so again that gets my attention. And they were speaking about how Jupiter is kind of like a magnet, really, the planet Jupiter, for our sun, and that wherever Jupiter is in orbit, the sun will actually go and be attracted to that. And the fact that we have an orbit, Earth, of 365 days, and Jupiter is 11.85 years. So its orbit is 11.85 years. And that fantastically, once every 12 years, our orbits align with Earth, the Sun, and Jupiter. And that actually, it happens to be October and November this year. And they were also saying that every 12 years-ish like this, the Earth actually heats up about 2.5 Celsius. Now, I haven't checked any of these facts out, guys. It was just literally before coming on here today. And I thought, how interesting is that? That different perspectives, when we take things back to a 12-year cycle or a 50-year cycle or a 120-year cycle or more, how our knowledge, the same facts can actually just appear differently because our perspective has changed. And it tied in beautifully because Gaia says it's our perspective. You know, we usually have a word that's a banner for the month, and this month of November is all about your perspective of life in general, of yourself, of each other. Now, just before I leave that conversation of what I learnt this morning or shared this morning, Jupiter has a dynamism about it. And in some Indian cultures, it's believed that Jupiter is Buddha and the bringer of light. So actually, scientifically, it's obviously bringing more sunlight in if it's all aligned that way. So it works whichever way you look at it. But the beautiful thing is, this extra amount of light that we're getting for this autumn, this extra amount of energy, solar flares, all of it that you will have noticed, brings one of two pathways through. So during this month of November, just take heed of these pathways. One is get up and go, that's genius, that's new ideas coming, that's creative influence, and that's dynamic. The opposite of that is inertia, and so much so that you just have no energy whatsoever, and your whole body and your body system slow down. Now, this is very, very different from being within the cycles of the year that we've spoken of before. This is just the particular planetary alignments at the moment. So one of the things that came through from my higher self this morning is the combination of those two can bring you into what I call a dynamic stillness. When we really go very still within ourselves, we actually expand. Our consciousness expands and goes to a higher place of the higher mind and the higher heart, and the evolution of mankind seems like an easier pathway. And when you put dynamism with it, it's the genius. It's bringing forward creative pathways to move forward, to heal, to respond to one another and one's own self in different ways. So that's just something to bear in mind during this month. You know, you're feeling that real inertia, maybe you can go into that practice of dynamic stillness and see what comes forward for your next step for you. Patience is another one that she's come up with. So perspective, massively. There's a huge amount of vibrational essence that's here during the next few months actually, but particularly till around the 27th, from the 17th to the 27th of November, where we're being asked to really see another person's point of view. And this isn't just a trial of the mind to attempt it. It's something that's actually going to be much easier for everybody as time moves forward. So the clarity of being able to see someone else's view leads to, again, an easier way of communicating. So that's definitely growing and coming through very strongly now. So Gaia really wants us to embrace our mind, embrace our way forward, to when we're making decisions, instead of denying or suppressing an idea, to embrace it and to just sit with that for a few moments before making a final decision. That would tie in with the patience-ness side of things, but to really embrace what is already within your life. To really, really embrace it. And the other thing was to really, on the side of the perspective, is just to step outside your normal belief structures. Just to step outside completely and go into the higher heart to say, okay, from my higher heart's point of view, what do I actually really feel is the truth that's coming up now? What do I actually feel is the right way forward for me to respond to this particular thing? What is perfect for me now? So it's just slight variations on the same theme for this month. Now, the cosmic guides have been in as well when I was connecting in for you for this month. And they're just giving us the heads up of more of what we already know so far, which is change is in the air, it's guaranteed. There's a massive amount of movement, both geographical, so the Earth herself is actually starting to flex and move to a point where shifts are taking place. I'm getting the sense of plates and shifts are taking place. So there's a little bit more. You know, like if you've been lying in bed for ages and you wake up and you're a bit stiff, or you're a bit, you know, part of you's gone numb and you need, you might not have ever experienced that, let me know if you do. But basically you shift, you have to move so that you get more comfortable. And that's definitely the impression the cosmic guides are giving me, their view of what Gaia's going through. Is she just needs to change place a bit and move around a bit and get a little bit more comfortable with her own evolution. So before we move on to the next part of this video, I'd just like to ask you to subscribe to this video channel and share it if you think anybody else would appreciate the time spent with me. Okay, so I've got the Starseed Oracle pack that has been created by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. And 2 packs have come up for the month of November. It really feels like we're going through a time on another layer for November of opposites. It really feels like the opposite parts of our nature are rising to both need to have their voice heard, to both need to be seen, need to be honoured, need to be coalesced, really brought in together. And in my past few videos I've talked to you about this 100% male, divine masculine, sacred masculine, and this 100% divine feminine coming together to certainly make more than just 200%. So this is a deeper intake now, a deeper way of working with those energies through November, about anything that's opposing yourself to yourself will rise. So have a look at both sides of that one coin. You are all. So you're not just limited to one side, one view, one belief structure. You've got potentials of the many. You know, have a purse that's full of coins, and it depends which one you're looking at as to what you want to be that day. But it's definitely, we're getting the heads up about opposing views or opposing ideals. It's sort of like, take a breath, have a bit of patience, as she was talking about, look from the different perspective, take a few steps back before you actually look at a way of merging this information, of honouring both sides. That's a biggie for this month. That's a real practical application. So, and that's really interesting. So the card out of this pack is wait. And it says, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. And that's a lovely addition to take perspective. You know, take a bit of time just to give yourself that different perspective. I think perspective views are one of the biggest healing modalities I know, the biggest vehicles of change, and can make massive change in human development and evolution. But there you go. The other one is Kyle Gray's, and I'll bring this one up for you. And this is his Gateway of Light activation. I think it's really important just to mention who's created, who are the creators behind these cards that I pull. And again, it's another great intuitive tool. It's just a tool between you and spirit. It's a tool between your higher self, your own heart, and what it is that you want to bring forth to have a look at for your truth. So what do we need to know for our life in November this year? Wow. Okay, well, that's really interesting. Yet again, I think we're just getting confirmations about what we've talked about, but we've got 2 cards, and the first one is Solar Light Upgrade. Solar Light Upgrade. Solar Plexus Chakra, Inner Fire, Will Power. So the solar activation and the fact that we're having more solar flares, that we're having more warmth at this time of year unusually, etc., brings that in. But when I look at that, I see you. I see the starlight that you are within the own beautiful, illuminated body that you are. So remind yourself when you're doing these perspective changes, you know, you're wanting to actually ask that part of you that is the most enchanted, the most illuminated, that has the most wisdom from a larger perspective about how to react in life. Oh, that's beautiful. And last but not least, from that same pack that came out with your solar card, is Inner Earth, and your base chakra, strength, security, and laying foundations. There's a lot of chat at the moment about the new earth and the fact that it's here now. So just go with that idea. Just go with that idea, even if it's for a nanosecond, to say, what foundations am I going to choose in my life now for the best of life's experiences? What in fact would they be? All right, my loves, I'll talk to you in a few weeks' time, see if we can get to more depth about what's going on. Mwah. Lots of love. Bye for now.